There is a road outside my town that nobody uses after dark. Not because it's dangerous, not because it's haunted, because of what waits there, and because everyone who ignored the warning eventually stopped coming back, or worse, they came back wrong. My grandmother was the first person to tell me about mile marker 13. She didn't tell it like a ghost story. She told it the way people talk about storms or avalanches, as a fact.
If you ever drive the old mountain road at night
She said.
and you see a woman standing beside the sign for mile marker 13,
She stopped. Then she looked me dead in the eyes.
don't let her in.
That was it. No explanation. No dramatic ending. Just those 4 words. Don't let her in. I laughed about it for years. Everyone knew some version of the story. Sometimes she wore a white dress. Sometimes she carried flowers. Sometimes she looked injured. Sometimes she held a baby wrapped in blankets. The details changed. Only 2 things stayed the same. Because you saw her at mile marker 13 and you never let her into your car. I saw her 3 months ago. It was raining hard enough that the wipers barely mattered. The old mountain road cut 20 minutes off my drive home from work, and I remember thinking that maybe the stories were good for one thing: keep traffic away. Then my headlights hit the sign, mile 13, and standing beside it was a woman. She wasn't waving. She wasn't trying to get my attention. She was simply standing there, waiting. Rain poured over her hair and clothes, but she didn't move, didn't shiver, didn't blink. I remember my grandmother's voice immediately. Don't let her in. I drove past. Then I looked in the mirror and nearly drove off the road. Because she wasn't getting smaller behind me. She wasn't standing beside the sign anymore. She was walking, and somehow, she was keeping pace with the car. I was doing 70 kilometers an hour. She walked beside me effortlessly, head on, hair hanging over her face, bare feet slapping softly against the wet asphalt. Never falling behind, never speeding up, just matching me perfectly. I looked away for maybe 2 seconds. When I looked back, she was gone. I told myself I imagined it. Adrenaline, rain, too many horror podcasts. Then something knocked against the passenger window. 3 knocks. I turned my head, and she was standing beside the car, outside, smiling. The road around us was empty. There was no way she could have gotten there. No way she could even be standing upright with the car still moving. But there she was, keeping pace effortlessly. One hand pressed against the window, the other resting politely by her side, as if she was waiting for permission. Then she raised one finger and pointed, not at me, behind me, into the back seat. I looked. Of course I looked. Everyone looks. The back seat was empty. When I turned back, she was gone. I hit the gas. The old car protested. The speedometer climbed 80, 90, 100. My hands hurt from gripping the steering wheel. Then I heard it, a wet sound, directly behind me. Breathing. Not loud, not dramatic, just close, like someone sitting in the seat directly behind mine, breathing directly through their nose. I refused to look, because if I looked, then whatever was there would become real. The breathing continued for 15 straight minutes. Every single time I checked the mirror, the backseat was empty, but the breathing never stopped. When I finally reached town, it vanished, just gone. The silence felt louder than the sound ever had. I laughed, actually laughed. I remember thinking I'd tell my friends about it. Then we'd joke about old stories and bad weather. Then I looked in the mirror one last time, not at the back seat, at myself. And someone else blinked, not me. The reflection in the mirror blinked half a second later than I did. I pulled over immediately, looked again. Everything was normal. My reflection matched perfectly. I convinced myself I imagined it again. Then came the dreams. Every night I dreamt of sitting in my parked car, unable to move, unable to speak, watching the rearview mirror, watching the back seat, knowing something was there, knowing that if I turned around, I'd die. Every dream ended the same way. A woman's voice beside my ear, not angry, not threatening, just patient. Thank you for letting me in. I stopped sleeping, stopped driving, stopped using mirrors if I could avoid them. Then one morning, I noticed something strange. My reflection moved before I did, only slightly, a fraction of a second. A smile beginning before my own mouth moved. Eyes shifted before mine did. Tiny things, easy things to dismiss, until they weren't. Last week I tested it. I stood in front of my bathroom mirror. I counted to 3 in my head, and I raised my hand. My reflection raised hers. Before I moved, I screamed. The reflection didn't. She just stood there smiling, watching me, waiting, like she had been expecting me to notice eventually. Then she mouthed 4 words. The same 4 words my grandmother told me all those years ago. Don't let her in. I think I understand now. The woman on the roadside isn't trying to get into your car. She isn't trying to get into your house. She isn't even trying to get into your life. She's warning you because something else is already there. Something riding in the back seat. Something that follows people home. Something that waits quietly behind their eyes. Learning, practicing, getting better at being them. Until one day, you look in the mirror and realize the person looking back has already learned how to smile exactly like you do. If you ever find yourself driving a lonely road at night and you pass mile marker 13 and you see a woman standing in the rain, don't stop, don't speak to her, and whatever you do, don't look in your back seat, because if she points, it means you're already too late. I've covered every mirror in my apartment now, all except one, the mirror in my hallway, because every morning, when I wake up, it's uncovered again, and every day, the woman inside it looks a little more like me, and I look a little more like her. You felt it, didn't you? That moment where something changed. You almost heard it. Play it back.
Absolutely. Got it.
It's clearer the second time. You've been listening to Dead Air. If you enjoyed the episode, follow the show. And remember, listen closely. New episodes every week. Good night. You stayed. We knew you would.
Don't turn around.